What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back again with the Awesemo team, and I'm here today to talk some college football. We are discussing the weekday slate with our friends over at PrizePicks. But before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. And without further ado, let's dive into the PrizePicks slate. We're going to do 4 props up, 4 props down. And first thing we have here, we'll start with some passing props. We're going to head to the Ohio versus Toledo game, looking at quarterback Curtis Rourke from Ohio. So first of all, this is a game with a lower total in terms of max standards, just 54 points. Toledo comes in as a 6.5-point favorite. And the first thing that stands out with Rourke is he's been in a timeshare for most of the year with Armani Rogers. Now, that timeshare has slowly moved towards Rourke's direction, but you still have Rogers coming in and siphoning a few snaps every single game. From here, Ohio is one of the slowest teams in the country, 64.3 plays per game, and one of the run-heaviest teams in the country. They only throw the ball 42% of the time. This game has a projected close spread against Toledo, only 6.5 points, meaning Ohio should be able to game script a little bit the way they want to play. And then on the other side, Toledo has one of the better defenses in the MAC, and that's something we have not seen Ohio play against in recent weeks. Of late, they've played Kent State, where Rourke throws for over 300 yards. They play Eastern Michigan, where he throws for 230 on just 17 attempts. This is a strong regression spot towards the under, and that is one we are going to be hitting here. Under 219 passing yards for Rourke. He projects for 168 for us. And second prop, we're going to go to the run game, where we're going to take a look at another quarterback, actually in the same game. It's Daquan Finn, Toledo quarterback. Now, he is another player that was in a timeshare to begin the year, but unlike Rourke, he has fully usurped Carter Bradley as the starter. He is extremely mobile, 378 rushing yards on the year cumulatively. And then that considers he only started 4 games this year and played all of the snaps. He did have some other games where he started but split time with Bradley. Only 4 full games for Daquan Finn this year. When you project him on a median basis, he is going to fall below this mark, and that doesn't take into consideration the games he was splitting time. When you look at what he's done of late, there's a strong opportunity for him towards the over here. And you're finding it at 29.5 yards. This is a really sharp line. You can get a very good value towards the over. Last week, 30 yards against Bowling Green. And then the 2 previous weeks, he did not quite get to this 30-yard mark that we need him to. -3 against Eastern Michigan, 27 against Western Michigan. That's on really low efficiency for him. In the week prior, he easily hit 43 against Central Michigan. And then he has 2 games above 80 yards to begin the year. So his upside as a rusher is elite, and he projects for over 50 yards for us. So hitting this at 29.5, there's a lot of opportunity towards the over here. Sticking with the run game, we're going to go to another MAC contest. This one on Wednesday, Dylan McDuffie, Buffalo running back, taking on Northern Illinois. This is an interesting spot here. The total 64 points, a 2.5-point spread in favor of Illinois, so Northern Illinois. So we're expecting this game to remain close enough where Buffalo can employ their rushing attack. As an offense, they're extremely fast, 76.5 plays per game, and then they're very run heavy. They're only passing the ball 43.5% of the time. Since Kevin Marks went down with injury, Dylan McDuffie has been an absolute bell cow back for this Buffalo team. 4 straight games, over 20 touches. His yards have just absolutely risen through the roof since he's handled this role. And then on the other side, Northern Illinois' defense is very susceptible to opposing rushing attacks. They're actually allowing over 240 rushing yards per game, which works right into the favor of McDuffie. They're playing with a signal caller and Kyle Van Treese, who is a pocket statue. He is not mobile, which means all of this work should go to McDuffie. And there has been no sign of Kevin Marks returning. Even if he does, there's a chance he's limited. So you can hit over 91.5 rushing yards on McDuffie right now. It might seem high, but it is just not high enough for the Buffalo back. And then to finish this out, we're going to get to a really greasy prop here, but one that is mispriced based on recent usage. It's the Bowling Green receivers. So we have Austin Osborne at 42.5 yards. I think there's 2 ways you could play this. You could also look at Tyrone Broden, and you're not allowed to parlay these together, so I'll touch these individually. So first of all, Austin Osborne over 42.5 yards. This is one that projects for 53.5 for us. Or you could look at Tyrone Broden under 52.5. Basically, these props should be flipped, and you should have Osborne as the more expensive receiver, Broden as the less expensive one. And let's explain why. So this Bowling Green offense, first of all, why I like the over for Osborne more than the under for Broden is that Bowling Green's extremely pass heavy. They pass the ball nearly 58% of the time. They're a fast offense, but they've dealt with a lot of inefficiencies, so they just cannot get the ball to some of their playmakers at times. Recently, Osborne, he's worked ahead of Broden, and it hasn't really been close. Broden does have a receiving yardage edge over Osborne on the season. He has 100 more yards, but Osborne has a very consistent path to targets, whereas Broden does not have that. On the year, Osborne's averaging 7.4 to Broden 6.1. In the last 4 games, this is even widened further. You have Austin Osborne 7 targets per game in the last 4 to Tyrone Broden's 4.5 in the last 4. The opportunity just suits Osborne in this place. And with Bowling Green passing as much as they are, they're facing a Miami, Ohio team where they're significant underdogs as 15.5 points and should be throwing again. This is a spot where you can hit the over on Austin Osborne. Again, I like the under on Broden as well, but just not quite as much. The preference is towards Osborne here. But that will do it for us. Thank you again to our friends at PrizePicks. Let me know in the comment section what your favorite props are. We'd love to hear them. Hit the thumbs up button on the way out. I am Matt Gajewski on Twitter at Matt_Gajewski. We will see you guys again next time.